set the stage for where you were and what made you realize you needed a post to sign like the one we're going to discuss.
So I'd probably only been in the hospital about a week. I would say 7 days, give or take. And I will admit I struggled a little bit in the beginning. I think there's this big spike of elation, like I survived. And then the reality kind of set in that I am really messed up. Doctors were telling me it was going to be months to put at a minimum, or let me rephrase that. Doctors were telling me it was going to be years to put me back together, whereas I thought it'd only take a few months. The prognosis was not good. My elbow was totally destroyed. I had no use in my left hand. There was massive nerve damage. Obviously, the massive amount of damage to my face. And I just, I was kind of struggling. I felt like a monster. I was really scared. Before I saw Erica the first time, I was really scared. She is a rock star. That's how she earned her name, the long-haired admiral. I mean, she didn't bat an eye. So I had her, but I was kind of struggling with where do I go from here? How do I overcome this? Pain and I'm disfigured. I felt like I'd be a monster for the rest of my life. And I had some individuals that came into the room, and we had a short conversation, and then I guess I maybe was drifting off, and they were talking amongst themselves. And if any of you have been in that, that in between awake and you're not quite asleep, you can still hear the sounds, the TVs. Yeah. And I caught bits and pieces of their conversation, and I don't fault them. There are some people that are like, how rude, how could they have that conversation in your room? Military hospital is a really hard place to be during a time of war. There are young men and women that are blown apart, missing limbs, traumatic brain injuries. It is very overwhelming to see this many young people. And they were there, and I think they were caught up in this. And they started having a conversation about what a shame, what a pity. We send these young men and women off to war, and they come home broken and battered, and they'll never be the same. And then they left, and Erica had gone down to get a cup of coffee or something. So I was in my room by myself, just thinking about this. It kind of woke me up, and I was both angry and like, is that going to be me? Am I going to be this broken veteran, that is never successful again? Am I going to be like Lieutenant Dan from the movie Forrest Gump? The beginning of the movie, hookers and booze, Lieutenant Dan, not you've got new legs, Lieutenant Dan. And I wrestled with it for a few minutes, and then I went back to everything that I had been through. And what I try to explain to people is that the victim mindset focuses on all the negativity. It focuses on it's unfair, I'm never going to be better. We focus on the immediate here and now, not recognizing that the greatest gift you have in this life is you have a choice. No one forces you to lay there and feel sorry for yourself. I don't care what situation you're in. As long as your brain is still working, you have free will. And you have the ability to decide how you're going to handle this situation, no matter how bad and uncomfortable and unpleasant it may be. And it was in that moment when Erica walked back into the room, I said, never again. That is never going to happen again. From this point forward, I will never feel sorry for myself again. And I will not allow anybody else to come in this room and feel sorry for me. And I asked her for my pen and paper, and I wrote out this sign. And it said, attention to all who enter here. If you're coming in this room with sadness or sorrow, go elsewhere. The wounds I received, I got in a job that I love, doing it for people that I love, defending the freedom of a country I deeply love. I will make a full recovery. What is full? That's the absolute utmost. Physically, I have the ability to recover. And I'm going to push that about 20% further through sheer mental tenacity. This room you're about to enter is a room of fun, optimism, and intense rapid regrowth. If you are not prepared for that, and we signed it to management, and the original sign was put on a regular piece of paper that I had been writing on. But later, Erica went and bought that large orange-red piece of poster paper, and we transcribed it word for word, put it on the door. A teammate tacked his trident into it, and a New York firefighter wrote a blog about it, and it went viral. It went all over the place. It was all over the news. To date, it has been written about in multiple books. Secretary Robert Gates wrote about it. First Lady Michelle Obama wrote about it twice in her book, becoming Michelle, sent me a handwritten note on how much it moved her. And it is now, it earned me an invitation to the White House to meet President Bush, who signed it. And we had it framed and dedicated. I didn't feel like it was mine. I felt like it belonged to the hospital and the other wounded warriors. And it now hangs in Walter Reed in the middle of the wounded ward and continues to motivate and inspire other wounded warriors. And now it's been amazing. I mean, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of people who have written me and said, hey, I put your sign on the door. I have cancer, or I've been injured, or my kid has been injured, or my kid has cancer, thank you. So you just never know the power of positivity and choosing to drive forward despite the hardship and adversity we face. And that's what that sign is.
People will follow if you give them something to follow. Like, who knew that maybe your most important role in these conflicts would be helping severely wounded guys coming back with no hope understand that there was a way out. And it began with attitude and the decisions about how you'd handle what happened to you and who would have access to you in this, your most vulnerable time, right? I mean, I'm sure we have no idea the number of people you've helped, even outside the military, as you point out, people in cancer wards who read that message and remind themselves, I have a choice here. And the choice I make really could be the difference between life and death. It really could.
Well, and to lift up those around you, that was one of my big goals. Like, I wanted to set the example for my kids. I wanted to set the example for Erica. I wanted to set the example for other wounded warriors around me. And I think that's such a powerful thing, because we may not be able to change the situation we're in. We've got to navigate through that. We've got to navigate through the pain and the misery and all the things that but we definitely can change. We can be, what I like to say, it's one of the shirts we created, be the light in the darkness, be the light, in those dark times, so many people are waiting for someone else to come save them or someone else to help them. Well, you do it, you do it, you be the light, man. And it'll help. It helps with your mindset. You start pouring some positivity into yourself. It's amazing how much it makes an impact. You may not, I try to explain to people that's part of the overcome mindset. And you may not be able to get back what you've lost. I meet so many people who that's what their focus is. Like, I want back my health, or I want back my relationship, or I want back my business, or whatever it is I've lost. And that may not be the case, but a willingness to drive forward, you're going to take the end moment and create a new beginning.
If you're like me, you're growing more and more concerned about the future. The market is all over the place. Inflation is at its highest level in 40 years. Interest rates are skyrocketing. Market experts not only predicting a recession, but using scary terms like economic hurricane. If you want to protect your future, consider the precious metal dealer, American Hartford Gold. They can show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. All it takes to get started is a short phone call, and they will have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or inside your IRA or 401k. And they keep it simple. They are the highest rated firm in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and thousands of satisfied clients. And as an exclusive offer for my fans, if you call them right now, they're going to give you up to $1,500 of free silver and a free safe on qualifying orders. So don't wait. Call now. Call 866-518-2955. That's 866-518-2955, or text Megyn, that's MEGYN, to 65532. Again, that's 866-518-2955, or text MEGYN to 65532. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.